Hi, welcome to MyBandTracks tutorials. In this tutorial, we're going to be discussing how you can publish songs for your band to use for practice, even when you play the song a little differently than the record. So let's take this scenario. My band wants to add a cover song to our repertoire. We want to practice on our own before we get together for rehearsal, and we want to use roughly the same structure for that song. So we're kind of come together already knowing what the parts are. When we do get together, we may want to change the structure a little bit. It's like that guitar part's a little too short. Maybe you want to double the solo or change up the bridge a little bit. So it'll end a little differently. Any of these things, so, some of those songs that have fade out, you might want to figure out an ending, that kind of thing. So when we start practicing on our own before we bring a song to rehearsal in person, we'll go out to Ultimate Guitar, Chordy, Songster, YouTube, Spotify, Jam Zone, all these different places to find resources to learn the song. In MyBandTracks, as a band leader, I'll set up the song and add these links, some of the links that I use, and then paste in the chord and lyrics from something like Ultimate Guitar. And then I can share that song with all the band members, and they already have the links that I've set up and see the structure of the song. And then any member can go to add other links. Maybe the drummer wants to add a drum lesson or drum chart or whatever it might be. And then we can get started in rehearsal all on the same page. So this tutorial is going to walk us through how MyBandTracks supports that workflow. And I'll see you on the other side. All right, so I'm going to create a new song. I'm going to give it a name and an artist. Then I'm going to go grab the lyrics and the chords from somewhere like Ultimate Guitar, and then I'm going to paste them in here. I'm doing all this in the context of my band and my set list. And when I'm done, I've added this new song to this band in this set list. And you can see it has the lyrics and the chords displayed. So a good way to start is using Jam Zone. So I'm going to add a Jam Zone link using the built-in browser. And then I can open Jam Zone by just clicking on that link. And it'll open the app, and then I can start using Jam Zone to practice and remove different things in the mixer and go from section to section and see the chords and the thing. Jam Zone is a great resource for practicing and for using backing tracks. Next, we're going to add a YouTube link for practicing from the web app. So I'm going to publish this song so that it shows up in my web app. And then when you go to the web and open app.mybandtracks.com, I can go to the band and the set list, and I'll see the song there. And when I see that song, it won't have a YouTube video, right? So I'm going to just search for that YouTube video. I'm going to grab its link, and then I'm going to paste that link back in as a resource in MyBandTracks. Give it a name, full song, because I might have more than one YouTube video attached. And then in a minute, up comes that video, and I can play that video right in here. Now I can do that on the web, but not in the native app. Now I'm going to set the timings for the sections for the song based on the YouTube video. So we're going to start the playback of the video and click the little sections as they come up during the playback. that's setting the timing of that section. You see it gets highlighted as we're going through here. And as you get to a new section, you click on the next section and it'll set the timing for that one. And then after we've gone through the whole song and set all the section timings like that, when we play back the song, you'll see that the section timings control the highlighting of the sections as the video plays. Right, so you'll see it here. Now we're going to go back and we're going to stop the video, restart the video, and as we play it, you'll see those sections start to highlight. And that's based on where I set them before. And I can reset them, of course, at any time if I get it wrong. So we'll just watch this until we get through this intro part. And then you'll see the verse will highlight when we get to the verse. And this is to just a YouTube video. We're going to get much more powerful in a minute. You see as we got to the verse, it highlighted the verse. So other links can be added to the song too, right? So you use a lot of different sites for learning a song. I certainly do. Sometimes I use Marty Music, and sometimes I use Guitar Lesson 365 for their videos, and on online sites like Ultimate Guitar, Chordy, Songster are all very useful for learning. So here we're going to add the Ultimate Guitar link to the song. I'm going to go to the official version, and then I just grab this link and add it as a link to the song, and then it'll always be there when I want to come back. And we can do the same thing for a guitar lesson video, like something from Marty Music. Let's go do that. So we're going to go over and we're going to search the web, and this time we're going to look for the same song on YouTube, but this time for a guitar lesson, right? So before we got it for the song itself, the music, but this is the actual Marty, one of my faves. Is great at showing you how to play a song. Of course, Guitar Lesson 365, Carl Brown, awesome. And then we just add that link like anything else. It knows it's YouTube. Then I can just say, well, this is my Marty Music link. And now I have several ways to learn this song, all connected to the song, and I don't have to keep remembering where in the browser to go to get those things. So we as a band, we've been practicing with Jam Zone and YouTube for a while. We had a rehearsal, and the song was good. We liked it, so we want to adopt it. So as the band leader, I want to make it ours, right? Because during rehearsal, we decided to play through the interlude twice. Now that's not the way it is in Jam Zone. It's not the way it is in YouTube, right? So if we practice there, we have to remember. Oh, darn, we do that interlude twice. Is that what we do? So in MyBandTracks, we can get to a point where we can work to our own structure. To get there, we're going to bring all these tracks in and use the multi-tracking capabilities of MyBandTracks and the sections and the section sequencing as we'll get through the rest of this video, show you how you can make a recording like this that comes from karaoke version into your own and make the structure yours. So you can see here I'm in karaoke version, and I'm grabbing the tracks and downloading them individually and sometimes grouped, so that all the guitars are one thing and all the bass are one thing. No need to have individual tracks all the time, but it's up to you. You can definitely load individual tracks, and that'll allow you to group them later in MyBandTracks, which we'll see with subgroups. But I'm going to get all the tracks and add them to this song. And then when I have it all in my band tracks, they'll be available for mixing individually, right? I can take the guitars up or down or mute them so that when I'm playing the guitar, that the rest of the music is playing, kind of like Jam Zone, but it's inside MyBandTracks, and it's all using these karaoke version tracks as the audio. And that'll allow me later, like I said, to synchronize that to the sections like you've seen on the web, but inside the app, and also to reorder it a little bit, which is pretty snazzy. You'll also be able to do things like adding a count in and cues, and these are all without having to go through a DAW, because one of the things you need to get to a more advanced structure like count in and cues and things like that is a way to record those and add them to the song for playback. And MyBandTracks allows you to do that without having to use a DAW. Okay, so I've got almost all the tracks now, and those tracks are all downloaded to my hard drive. And once they're down on my hard drive, I'll have them for adding to my song, which is what we'll do next. Okay, we're back in the app now, and I'm going to add these tracks to the song to serve as the audio, replacing that YouTube that we used while we were still looking at the song and learning it. The tracks are on my hard drive, so I grab them, and they all get added to the song. It's nice to have them in certain order, so I'm kind of being anal and selecting them in order so that they appear the way I like them. And the next thing I want to do is I want to assign them to subgroups, so I can mute and solo individual or groups of tracks during playback. Now this band doesn't have subgroups yet, so let's add those real quick. I like to have two ways I think about subgroups. There's these kind of usual that there's templates for that you can see as you're adding subgroups for bass and drums and guitar and backing vocals, etc. Another way to think about it is you could have the band member names, so that if your band members either do different instruments for different songs, some maybe a keyboard and a guitar, etc., you could have Joe play keys on one song and play guitar on another song, and then when Joe's playing back, he just mutes his subgroup, and whenever he goes from song to song, the part that he plays is going to be muted, so it's like he's playing along. All right, so we've created all the subgroups, and we're just going to go back and we're going to assign the tracks to those subgroups. And as we do that, you'll see that the pills start appearing on the bottom. We go back to the mixer view, and for each track, we're going to assign this particular subgroup, and the pills show up on the bottom. And then when we're done assigning all the tracks to their subgroups, when we play, we can mute or solo individual subgroups, so that, you know, maybe if there's a subgroup for a drummer, the drummer can just mute drums, and then anytime in that session, the drums will be muted. Now that we have our audio based on those backing tracks, we want to reset the timing of the sections. And the first thing we can do with those backing tracks is use the click track to define bar boundaries. And we'll do that by using that click track and then analyzing, and then it figures out the bars and tells you how confident it is with those. And we'll set the first bar beginning as the beginning of the intro, and it's very precise. So now the sections can be timed, and they will snap to the beginnings of bars. So later when we start using sequencing the sections, we use them. They're very precise, and they go exactly to the beginning of the bar. This is a very accurate way to set the section boundaries. Now that we have section boundaries on bars and bars in general, we can set count in, and we can use the system to define cues, and it'll announce different sections ahead of those sections because it knows the count in, and the count in will precede the beginning of the song, and it can also announce the title of the song, all because we've set everything up to bars. Now we get to section sequencing. This is where we can order the sequences in a slightly different sequence from what the song is on the record or the recording. So the sections are all snapped to bars, which means we can select the bars in the order we want, the sections in the order we want. In this case, we are going to repeat the interlude, and this will be shared with all members of the band. You can also see that the selection of them is quite simple. You just pick them and they show up in the order they're going to be in the result. We gave it a name of double interlude, double bridge, so that we know what's going on with this particular alternate sequence. And then when we're done sequencing, we're going to share it with the whole band, and everybody in the group will see it. And you can see that it's a named sequence there. And you'll also see that the lyrics, when we change the pills on top, are changed, and you can see that the interlude is repeated twice in the text below. Okay, the last stop on our journey is to see how this is going to show up in the web app. We've published the song, and we've published the alternative sequence, so that when we go to this song now, you'll see that the lyrics and the sections below represent the section order that we chose, where the interlude is repeated twice. And as we play through here, just like in the app, you will see the song play in the order that we created. So when we play this song, it will go through the sections with the interlude repeated. And as you scroll down, you can see that the interlude section shows up twice because it is part of the sequence that way. So in conclusion, we've seen how MyBandTracks takes you from the initial band collaboration on a candidate song through rehearsal and restructuring with tracks, personal mixes on the app, and access for members who want to use the web. If you're interested in trying out MyBandTracks, visit MyBandTracks.com and download the app and take it for a spin. If you want to collaborate with your band, then subscribe as a leader and invite your bandmates. See you in the next video.